Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock. Happy Tuesday night to you guys. So it's about 10 p.m. or almost 10 p.m. Wednesday night. No, it's Thursday night. So I decided to jump on really quickly. I received an email from a young lady, and the email was very, very raw. But what I love is that it was authentic and it was real. And I always tell people when you are being, regardless of how you feel, good or bad, when you're authentic and you're truthful about what you're dealing with and what you're feeling, that is the first key to really correcting certain issues in your life. But basically, she deals with the spirit of jealousy. And she was real enough and authentic enough to tell me that she kind of has been like, side-eyeing your girl, envying your girl, right? But in all fairness, it's just not me. In fact, it's many other individuals, and this is something that she dealt with for the majority of her life. Well, with that being said, then that definitely doesn't have anything to do with me or even the others who she currently may have a spirit that she does not desire to have of jealousy and envy. So that tells me it's a deep rooted issue. And again, when you take the time out to really address any areas, like again, what is your area of struggle? Whatever that area is for you, we all have different areas. For her, it's jealousy. And so you have to, once you know and you acknowledge what that area is for you, you then have to go back and dissect it. Because something along the way, right? Childhood, even early adulthood, all that stuff, something along the way have planted that seed. What is it? Were you a child who were the only child from a different father, right? You could have 8 siblings, but you're the only one that had a different father. So you just never felt like you were good enough. And you were, but you just never felt that. Did you have parents who seemed to value one child more than the other? And this is one thing that I stress to people over and over. Again, I don't have children, but one thing I stress to people over and over, whatever you do, I don't care if they're boys or girls, don't ever, bless you, Tippy. Sorry, my dog sneezed. Don't ever compare your children. And I think what happens is parents don't even realize that they're doing it, right? They don't even realize they're doing it because some things are just common or just natural things, whatever. So if you have, several children or whatever, and one may be excelling in school and just whatever area, and you're just constantly like, they might be like the star football player and the star cheerleader, and you're constantly celebrating that child, right? And I mean, you're not doing it intentionally. You just want to support your child. You want to be there and be like that parent who had the biggest sign. But what about the other children, right? You may drag them along to the games, and they may even be cheering along too. But if you take a moment to really just sit there and look at that other child may be showing you certain signs that they're feeling left out, that they don't feel like they are as worthy as the other sibling, because the other sibling is all you talk about. When you're on the phone, you're calling all your friends. Oh, such and such made a touchdown. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, yeah, he's the girl. They talking about, they're looking at him from all the colleges, and oh, I knew he was gonna make me rich, right? And so you're just supporting that child, and that's not to say you stop supporting that child, but it is to say that that other child who may be falling back on his or her grades because they learn differently, because each child, each person learns differently. So that child may be falling back on their grades, right? They may not be the star cheerleader or football player. They might just be the nerd, quote unquote, what people consider to be the nerd. But you got to embrace that. So the same way you celebrate the star football player or the cheerleader, you got to celebrate your little nerd. Take him to the library. Act like if you're not even into that stuff, act like you into it. Let him know or she know that she is just as important as the one to get the lights, camera, and action. Because even if that child never says anything, what you're saying indirectly to that child is that your sibling is better. And what happens? They grow up, and some of you guys deal with this now. They grow up in a sibling rivalry. Can't even stand your brothers and sisters and don't even know why. Don't even know why. There's a good chance that an adult, mother, brother, sister, whoever raised whoever, because I know that, people are raised from different adults, just not mother and father. I'm sorry to anyone who may have been raised by, a granny, auntie, uncle, whatever. But the adults, may have just kind of indirectly, not even knowingly, favored or seemed to favored one child more than another. I have heard a lot of people say this, a lot. And in fact, it made me curious. So I asked several times in the past, and they all said yes. I've heard people say that you can have 15 children, but you love all 15, but there's going to be a few or one or a few or many. If you have 15, it's probably, few, but there's going to be a few that you have more of a bond with, or you feel more connected with, right? Not that you love one more than the other, but you do feel more close or more whatever to the other for whatever reason. So again, that's not to say that, we're human, but it's just to say that make sure you are focusing on each person, each child. Celebrate each thing, because you are causing seeds and you don't even realize it. So now these children grow up and they're in the world, the world won't already beat us up. They're in this world just telling them they're not good enough and they're not this and they're not that. Well, that seed was planted early on. So, all it's doing is just confirming everything that they've ever felt. And now you got these children who can't wait to get out of the household and go half across the world to a college outside of the country because they never felt loved. They never felt good enough. They never felt like they measured up into their siblings. So that seed is planted, and now you have full-blown adults who are dealing with insecurity, jealousy, all these different rooted issues. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to let you guys on something, right? Here's why I didn't take her message offensive. And don't get me wrong, she was not rude at all. She was really authentic, raw, but authentic. And I appreciate that. Because it's not like she's saying, oh, I hate this person, that person. She's saying, it's like, I feel like I have to stop watching these people because it's almost like I feel like a little jealousy or a little insecurity and all that stuff like that, right? So she's not being mean towards the people she have these feelings. So she's being her authentic self. But I'm going to say this, and this is coming from a person. You got two types that I'm going to be talking about right now. You're talking about people who've dealt with jealousy all their lives. And that is me. And when I say all my life, I mean all of my life. From the time I can ever remember. And I'm one of these people that can remember that when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. I'm that person who can remember all the way back to that point. I know some people like, oh my God, I can't remember. I had 13, 14 years old is my last memory. And I think maybe it's certain things you remember more than others when you're extremely young. But anyway, I can remember back when I was extremely young and dealing with jealousy issues up until this very second. And the average person, they'll brush it off. They don't care. It's almost like, that's your problem. You're jealous. I don't care. But if I'm honest, it has always bothered me. Always. ways. Why? Here's why. The same crazy, giddy person, all in your face type personality. I've been like this all my life, meaning I've never met a stranger, right? Even if I see you and I don't really vibe with your spirit, I will never be mean to you. I will always embrace you and just keep my distance. But I've never, ever met a stranger. So I love everybody. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to like hold hands and just, do this thing called life. Let's help each other because you may have some knowledge on something I don't and vice versa. So let's put all this stuff together and be happy together. So that's my mindset. Always have been. So it's bothersome to not understand. It's bothersome to not know why. Right? I mean, I know why now, but then, you don't know that it's really not you. You tend to think that it is you. Like, why do everybody not like me? Mind you, I'm from a smaller town, but I've always had the big mindset. I've always traveled. I always knew that God had more for me. So sometimes when you're from a smaller town and you do start to go off and get knowledge and go off and kind of, see and explore, and then you bring that back to your hometown. And sadly, you're trying to really bring that stuff back to help others. But they just see it as, oh, you think you all that. Well, no, because I'm struggling with insecurities just like you because I am a woman. But even if I did think that, what's stopping you from thinking you're all that? So how is me, quote unquote, thinking I'm this and that, right? Because that's your own little thought process because it ain't mine because I'm dealing with insecurity just like you. But even if you felt that way or think that I think that way of myself, what is stopping you from thinking the same way? So it was never about me. I know that now. It was never about me. It's just that you want me to dim my light so you can shine. And guess what? I've done that. I've done that for a great majority of my life. I've went places with female friends and find myself sitting down so I didn't get all the attention because they were insecure. Right? And then your girl had a wake-up call. Like, you're not about to dim my light. Listen, I'm willing to share some light with you. Like, I got this candle. I got this lighter. I want to flick it so yours can get light too. Let's shine together. But I'm not about to sit here any longer when I've done that for the great majority of my life. Considering dimming mine so you can get shine. And then when I give you shine, you still want shine? Child, listen. So in saying all of that, I always say that I'm a loner and I walk alone, right? I've always said that, and I really am in the sense of course, not 365 days a year, but most people, if you see me out, right? If I'm not currently in a relationship at the time, when you see me out, if I'm in a single season, 98% of the time you will see me by myself. I don't care where it is. It could be a concert. It can be a dinner. It can be, I don't care where it is. I'm just a loner, right? And naturally, I just always thought that, okay, I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert, right? So I am okay with being solo dolo, but I'm still the life of the party. So I'm an extrovert. But I give so much. I give so much energy and so much this and so much that. People pull for me no matter where I go. They're pulling, that I have to get back to that place where I'm introverted in order to re-up my energy. Because, when you expel all that stuff, you got to get full back up one way or another. And sometimes that means for you to shut it all down, turn that phone off. And when people texting you and you don't answer the phone, you better leave me alone. But then I thought to myself a couple of years ago, are you introverted because people have always tend to try to make you like not shine? So did you just become introvert? Are you really introverted in general, or are you introverted because dealing with a lifetime of jealousy for absolutely no, all caps, no reason? And let me be clear, that's not everybody. Because I mean, I've met some queens, and honey, like strangers, and we shine together, And I got some. Don't get me wrong, I got friends and never dealt with any of that nonsense ever, 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 ever. Dealt with jealousy, envy, never. Till this very day, I would trust them with my life, but that's a very, very few amount of people. So what I've learned after really, really doing the work, right? Because see, you got people who's jealous of you when you don't even know, like they don't even know that you're insecure because you're trying to figure life out. You haven't really found your purpose and your calling. You're trying to still get right with God. You're trying to build up your confidence, but they're hating you and don't even realize you're just as lost as they are, right? So once you really put that work in and you now, you currently know exactly who you are. Well, that's where I am. And I pray that's what you guys are on that path to getting there. When you really, truly know who you are. And again, that comes from a relationship with God, walking in your true, authentic purpose and calling, understanding that there's only one you. Nobody can do anything like you do it. People can talk good or bad. It will never penetrate your soul any longer. It will never penetrate your soul because now you know authentically who you are. And then you get a revelation on why people didn't like you. Because really it was never about you. It was about the light they saw, the favor they saw. You couldn't see it at the time, but they could see something. And most times they don't even know what it is. They just know it's something. So I always say this, it's not that people dislike you. They dislike what they can't understand. Right? So it's almost like, well, why does she always get this good stuff? And why when we walk in the room, she gets all the attention? Why when she because that favor was always on you. You didn't know at the time probably it was called favor, but people just gravitated towards you because there was something different about you. And so once you get to that place finally, it's crazy. God will then, and I'm going through that now, and it's the hardest thing. I ain't gonna lie. It's the hardest thing. God will start to send the very people who didn't like you, who judged you, who made up lies on you, whatever. But it all is from the root of jealousy. When you guys, as I'm not scripture, fluent like that, but I think, what is it? God will make your enemies your footstool. Guys, correct me in the comments if I'm off. But I know it's something like that. And so again, sometimes, you hear something so much it becomes cliche, but it is so true. If you guys were to see my inbox, and I would never, right? I want to have a petty moment every now and then, but I would never do that, put people on blast. But if you guys saw my inbox and see some of the very people who you would try to figure out, well, why don't you like me? And they could never give you an answer. I don't know. I just don't like you. Why? Because you think you're all that. What? What? I'm sitting here, girl, dealing with confidence issues and trying, dealing with womanly things and trying to figure this thing out and just as lost, getting my heart broken just like you. But I think, girl. And God will take these same people and send them back to you and have them apologize. Like, oh my God, I knew you would always be something. I just didn't know what it was. And now I know. And I just apologize if I was the mean girl. And you just want to be like, girl, bye. block, right? You start typing that like girl, bye, and then you get a conviction. You get a conviction like, no, this is a teachable moment. No, nobody about to teach nobody nothing. Then I made my life a living hell. I'm not about to teach. This is a teachable moment. It's not about you. Boo. So now you're going to take these same women because now you have really tapped into your confidence, your self-esteem, your purpose. They were lost then and they're still lost now, but I need you to go back now and grab their hands regardless of how mean girls they were and help. Man, listen. I'm asked for all this. I ain't signed up for this now. I ain't signed up for all this. Because I still want to, that flesh rise up. It's like, And so, I have a few I'm just still sitting on read. Still sitting on read. I ain't respond back to yet, right? But I'm going to get there. Your girl going to get there. But I do know this. To those of you who've dealt with a lot of jealousy, like I did, I hope you now know that it had absolutely nothing to do with you, right? And you were probably just as confused as I am because you were probably just as warm. And you know what? You may have not been as again, I'm a very, friendly, outspoken type of person where you may have really been like a very quiet, shy person. So they may have considered you to be stuck up because you were actually shy. And your shyness could have been like you were just intimidated and afraid and lonely and lost. And because you're quiet, they thought you were stuck up. So they dislike you because of that. They may have disliked you because you were the pretty girl. You were the one, with long hair and all this stuff. But anyway, I hope you know in your heart and in your soul now that it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with the fact that there's always a bigger purpose. We can't see it at the time. I hope you're not holding in any hurt, resentment, and anger any longer. And if you are, it's a process, and don't let anybody rush that process. But you do have to get to that process because God will eventually send you back to help some of these same people, if not all. And you're going to have, as hard, Jesus, as hard as it is, no flesh can rise up, right? Well, you're human. So even if it is, you'll get convicted. You will know. You know. You know when God is sending you back because you won't really go reaching out to these people. God will send these people to you. Again, it might come in the form of an apology. It might be in the form of some old fake stuff like, oh, girl, I knew you. Yeah, back in the days, you were outspoken as. I knew you would be on time. It can be some, and you just like, You better not ask me for nothing, right? No connects, no none. You're done. Woo-cha. Okay, so, all right. So anyway, so I hope you know that has nothing to do with you. I hope you're healed from that trauma because that is trauma. That's trauma. I hope you're healed from that and you're whole from that. And you now know that you're beautiful. You never thought you were all that. You didn't think that, boo. They thought that. But whatever. If you are the person who have bullied or been a mean girl, and you've, afflicted some hurt and started some rumors or whatever, if you were that person, I hope you forgive yourself because I'm sure you're probably in a place now where you're older now and it's almost like, oh, I wish I never done that. And I wish, now this person is, they're probably dealing with insecurities all their lives because of me. So I hope that you forgive yourself. Go to God and ask God to help. Ask God for forgiveness and then ask God to help you forgive yourself. And there's a good chance, a very good chance, if your heart and your spirit is pure, God will send you back to reach out to that person you've hurt. Because you may be the one source, well, not source, but you may be the one, thing that person needs in order to really help them heal. Next, you got to tap into why are you so insecure? Why were you also always jealous? So if it stemmed in childhood from some of the things that I said earlier, then you got to understand that sometimes adults, whoever raised you, parents, auntie, uncle, grandmama, sometimes they're just doing the best they could. And I think sometimes we hold adults to the certain standard. And now that we're adults, we realize life is not always a, picnic in the park. We're trying to figure this thing out as we go. So they may have made some mistakes by not acknowledging you or comparing you. And if you feel that way, I will encourage you to address that with them. Go to that adult. Listen here. Sit down. I need to have a conversation. Remember when I was 2 and you told my brother that, he was smarter because he knew where to find the truck when you had the truck, and I couldn't find the truck, and I was trying to go all around the house looking for the truck, and you called me dumb? And I still feel that I'm dumb to this day. Get that thing out. Go to them. Let them know how you feel. And then they may be like, I've never said that. And guess what? They truly may never, ever remember, because it was not even something that, you took it to heart. It hurt your feelings, so it stuck with you. They may not even remember it. And here, you're sitting here holding on to this hurt, and they're trying to figure out why you don't like them and why you don't come around 16 years later at the family reunion. Because at 2 years old, you told them they were dumb. Listen. I promise you I'm not laughing because it's funny, because it's not. Because there are people that I know that still hold on to things that their parents have said. I'm laughing because we all are trying to figure this thing out called life. That's why you got to stop judging. I don't judge nobody. I don't care if it's the crackhead on the corner to the doctor. I don't judge nobody, because we all have a different story and we all are trying to figure this thing out called life. Point blank, period. So anyway, you have to figure out, why your thing is, if you're dealing with that root of jealousy. Next, I know I say this a lot and I will never change this. When you tap into your purpose and your calling, again, don't let people try to make you feel less than, because your purpose may be something small, or what they consider to be small, and make you think it is not so big. People with big purpose really don't even want it because it's so stressful. Whatever your purpose in your calling is, walk in that thing and perfect it, because that alone, and of course the relationship with God, that is where your confidence is going to come from. And honey, I promise you, and when I say honey, I mean guys and girls. Now I just speak like that. I speak like I'm an old lady. Once you tap into that thing, that's where your confidence lies, because that is your thing. Nobody else can do that. That's your thing. Nobody. So when you know that you're the only person that can do this thing the way you do, with your swag, with your this and you're that, that's confidence alone. But again, a relationship with God, because God will let you know exactly who you are and all that good stuff. So all the stuff that wasn't instilled in you, He will instill all that stuff in you. It may take you a lifetime to try to seek it from whoever took it. But a relationship with God will, boom, give you that stuff instantly. Might be a process, but you get my point. And know that you were created exactly the way you were created. Don't let society standards of what beauty is to you get up in your head. So if you're physically comparing yourself to a person, please don't do that, because I can guarantee you that the percentage rate is very high of women who you deem to be very beautiful, nice body, or whatever your thing is. The percentage rate is very high that same woman is dealing with her own insecurities. Trust me when I tell you. So don't ever let society get up in your head and tell you what what you should look like. Listen, I've always been a different chick, like for real. I've always been a different chick. Anybody. If you meet I got videos right now from, at class reunions and stuff like that. And people's like, Kizzy have always been different. Like, always different. Even when people didn't understand. But I knew, even when I didn't understand, but I knew I would always be authentic and walking in my truth and never trying to be like somebody else. I didn't care who it was. Till this very day, I don't care. Sit Beyonce next to me, I'm like, girl, you bad. That body's banging. But you ain't touching me. Point blank, period. And you may be like, girl, yes, she is. I said she's not. She's not. Why? Because I'm whole internally. And when you're whole internally, nothing or no one will intimidate you. So this is why you got to put the work in. Yes, they did that in childhood. Yes, that ex-husband told you were fat. After you had the baby, you had an ugly stomach, a wrinkled stomach. You gained weight because of quarantine, all this stuff. Whatever. Whatever area you decide to work on it for yourself. Not for what anybody else says. Have you ever realized that same person, that same man who may have been putting you down after babies and stuff, what is his belly looking like? He got a bare belly, and he didn't even have the children. He had the child. You had the child. You have an excuse. So understand that many times you can be beautiful in his sight, but sometimes with a broken man, he has to tell you you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, and you're that. He has to keep you broken because that will get you to the point that you will never leave. You will never have confidence to leave. If he builds you up, which what healthy men do, trust me, healthy men build you up. So it's not even about you half of the time. It's about him and his insecurities. So start working on yourself. Start getting closer to God. Start walking in your purpose and your calling. Because guess what? There's a good chance, a very, very good chance, that person who Satan is putting up in your head and trying to make you jealous of and envious of, that person may be the same person that holds the key to unlock your blessings. That same person may want to can take your hand and take you higher. But you're blocking your own blessings because you're sitting here, you're looking at their pictures, you don't even want to hit like, you're listening to the recordings, you don't want to comment because you're like, oh, I don't want to give her no more support because she already thinks she's getting all the support. Well, you're supporting anyway. You're viewing it. But stop being petty. Because there are some women out here, not a lot, but there are some women out here who wants to take you higher. Truly. But Satan got you sitting here envying that woman just so you can never say anything to her. And behind closed doors, you listening but you're pouting, your face ball up. And got devil ears. Mad. Oh, God. Life, you gotta love it. But I gotta go. But guys, listen, men or women, whoever you are enough. You are enough. Keep telling yourself that. Add that into your affirmations. You are enough. And even if you don't feel like you are enough for the world, screw society. Set your own definitions like I do. Society will never tell me I got to be married. I got to have children. I got to be this size. Okay, come tell me that if you want. Come tell me that if you want. But you are enough. And even if you don't feel like you are enough for society, which you are, but if you don't feel that way, you are enough for the right person that God has for you. So see, you picking on your own. And that's why you don't feel like you're enough. That's why these fools sitting here messing with your self-esteem. And this is men and women too now, because listen, I know some dudes who got women, who are abusive. Verbally, especially if he loves it. Because when a man loves a woman, honey, a man loves a woman. Like for real, for real. But he's so in love and he's so caught up, he's so gone that He don't even realize this chick sitting here, you stupid, you broke, you trifling, you's a mama's boy, you's a PUSSY. Don't even realize that woman is chipping and chipping and chipping and chipping at his self-esteem, at his confidence, at his manhood. So now when he leaves or she leaves, the next woman gonna catch hell. Like what's going on right now with a lot of these men. The next woman catching hell because of what she did. So that's why it's important, Nobody want to stay single. Stay single, work on yourself, get that confidence up. Because listen, once you get that confidence up and you know who you are, you're not about to be entertaining these clowns. And clowns as chicks are dude. You're just not about to do it. You ain't got time for that, You just ain't got time for it. So I don't know, guys. I just want to give all of you a big hug because my spirit tells me there's somebody listening and you really, really are feeling this, and you really are that person who has struggled with, confidence all your life and jealousy all your life. And I just want to tell you, you are enough. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.